This is Debbie, and this is Light Up Your Worth. I am so excited. In fact, I'm over here doing a happy dance because I cannot wait for you to meet this week's guest. Kiwana Thomas is your money intuitive expert and financial strategist, transforming lives for 2 decades. She's the founder of Set for Increase. Kiwana aligns clients with prosperity, emphasizing long-term success. Her energy is very contagious. Power and mastery fosters a secure, nourishing, and buoyant space for your financial journey. Appreciating every individual's unique path, Kiwana respects and appreciates and drives her mission to revolutionize lives. In the first 30 days, Kiwana ensures clarity and comfort in your money flow while instilling confidence and investing in yourself. Beyond the individual, her expertise reshapes mindsets and relationships with money that impacts present and future generations, all the while leaving an indelible mark on what it's like to live wealthy. Join the journey of financial empowerment with Kiwana Thomas, where abundance means strategy and takes you to Monday ecstasy. Welcome, Kiwana.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so excited to be here, to be talking about people and their worthiness, to let them know how every part of them is worthy and every story needs to be heard.
I'm so fortunate to be able to spend so much time with you and get to know you as my friend and partner in collaborating with different things, including this podcast. And I'm so excited because I really believe everybody has their unique way, their vibration, their beliefs that they bring into helping other people, especially with that sensitive thing of finances.
Yes, because money means something different to us all, whether we grew up with a lot of it, whether we grew up with scarcely finding it here and there, whether we grew up with knowing that money comes to me freely. We all have our different cherished money stories, and it's made us who we are today. So yeah, it definitely has a different impact with every single life I see.
I think we're aligned with a similar view of abundance.
Absolutely, I would say the same. I would say that we both share the fact that abundance really is not even all about money. It is truly about who we are, what we consider our worthiness to be or our worth to be. It's about believing ourselves, having the confidence to go after what we desire. I would have to say that we are in agreement and alignment on the word abundance as well, because many people just attribute it to either the affirmations or money. And really, that's only like a slither of what true abundance really is. I would have to agree.
Hmm. Yeah, it's important. And it's why I talk about the consciousness and energy of money and abundance. It's especially important for women, healing generational trauma around money stories, as I like to call them, money beliefs. I wanted to jump in and really talk through how you approach this with people. How do you view your role with helping people, even though it's money, your beliefs on what money is, the energy behind money?
I start there when assisting people until you show them first how it can no longer be a worry, how it can no longer be something that is a constant nagging feeling of either not having enough, or until you can take that away, we can't get anywhere. I start with seeing what they know about money, how they feel about it, and then immediately putting it forth a personalized financial plan. Once I get a client to see, oh, I have money, it becomes all the wants seem to unlock, all the money beliefs seem to be easier to work on. I'll never forget, I ran a program I love to call it bingo. People would come into my office and they'll be like, "My friend drugged me here because she said that you found money for her. So I'm gonna come and see if you can find money for me because girl, I don't have no money." So and so it never fails. They would always walk into the office with that same mindset of, I can't afford, I can't pay for, I'm gonna just give you this and you find it. And then when they leave and find out that, hey, you got to tell me what to do with this $6,000. Hey, you got to tell me what to do with this $9,000. Mouths drop. It's first, how did you find that money? Secondly, you mean to tell me if I agree that you found the money, I actually get to focus on something else? I actually get to see, wow, I could now take that energy that I was expensing around not having enough. Oh, I can't afford that. Or, oh, that's too high. Like I get to put that somewhere else. And then we get to dig deeper into what do you really want? Am I worthy to have what I want? Who am I now that I no longer identify as broke? You've given me another perspective to actually see through and help me not run back and grab my comfort blanket, right? I've been living with lack or with scarcity for so long. It's helped me not run and get that blanket and be like, okay, let's just be friends. Help me now start to walk this walk of actually feeling like I can do this. And that's a journey that I take people on, but it always starts with eliminating money as a worry. Then we can dig deeper and look beyond our current circumstance.
Mm-hmm. The thought of showing my stuff to others,
Mm, mm,
the fears that are coming up in everybody who have never shared their information with anybody except maybe a
mhm.
spouse or a partner or a best friend. And the best
And
friend's
the
going, how
judgment.
much did you spend on that judgment? And they're afraid before they're even calling anybody to take a look to help. Because I think there's a belief that no longer serves anybody that
Mhm.
comes up that about the shame and the guilt that they're not in a better situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like when you're going through something, the world tries to tell you that you're the only one. Because if you look around in our families, we may be able to point out who may be doing well, but you
Mhm.
don't see their struggles, the person who can tell what it took to get to the place where they are today. Typically, you don't hear about the times where you cry on the floor and things don't come as quickly as they need to be. And that's what makes an individual feel like when I'm walking through this walk, I'm alone and I'm going to see shame because all I may hear in my family is such and such had this car repossessed or look, you always got to pay your bills because if you don't pay your bills, you'll end up like such and such with bad credit. That's all
Mhm.
we hear is the shame and the judgment. And so when we've gone through that, whether it's firsthand or even secondhand, it does something internally to us. So it's hard to break down and show people what you have and start there. And I feel like one of the things that makes me successful in meeting clients is, or having clients not be afraid to open and share is because my life, though it looks like this now, didn't start there. We started with um, my husband being in a 300 credit score. We started with me almost foreclosing on my home and having to really rely on the journey and the process. I'm an open book, letting people know that just because it's your start doesn't mean it has to be your end. And then when you talk about how quickly things speed up, when you actually start looking and focusing on your money, like my husband and I, we had a 5 year get out of debt plan. It was me and I had one child at the time, and it was my husband. We were on an income of about 52,000 a year. We had just left Florida with our last $500. And I talk about how in my journey with looking for jobs, because daycare is expensive. How I love finances. And I had a beautiful angel tell me on a job interview, look, if you don't pursue this dream and passion of yours, and I put you back here, your light's gonna dim. And she was an angel at that time to see all the other people that I could not see. And when I share those stories, okay, I just went into my closet with my spreadsheets and I'm looking like, okay, David, we're not getting was it federal tax return? We're not getting that. That was going to a child support debt that was owed. Yet somehow we still managed to clear, I think at the time it was $30,000 of debt in 2.5 years, where we had doors open for us. I talk about how I got on the phone with these people and David was at work, and because every 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom we were trying to get was so high that I went down to 2 bedrooms, and then that rent was still high. That I started saying, it's just me and my child. Are you married? Nope, not married. Just to get the budget to work. Then a gift opened to us for 1,400 square foot apartment, upgraded everything, baths in every room, jacuzzi in the master bedroom, and we were allowed to stay there for the 2 years for us to become debt free. I share these stories to let anyone know you're not alone. Working with someone who is an open book, whether it's what me and my husband face when we're talking about finances, whether it's what it went through when I was independent. And having that relatability and freedom to talk helps people unfold their finances. Either my story is worse or they feel like I'll understand. But either way, we get through to a point to where they are understanding that I'm not here just as the person that I'm just investing money with, but I've actually invested in their story and getting them to a wealthier and worthier place so they can feel more confident about how they spend, feel more confident and energetics when they're exchanging money in their day-to-day activities. So I understand that hard step it is to take to say, hey, I want to work on finances. This is why I believe more of us who are not ashamed to talk about our walk, are not ashamed to talk about what
Mhm.
we've been through, to be able to keep stepping up and keep helping people, keep putting our story out there.
I've had ups and downs with my financial journey. And if I shared it all in this podcast, people would be shocked. They
Mm-hmm.
would be shocked because I've also made good money at times. I've also not made good money at times. And I've made decisions that felt right in the moment. Maybe they weren't the best financial long-term strategy decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in trying to walk that walk. And one of the most beautiful things I love about your energy, Kiwana, is that it truly is non-judgmental, truly non-judgmental about when you've ever had to go to the food bank, when you've had a repo of a vehicle, or maybe you've short sold your house, or you've looked around at what you could sell so you could make rent or your mortgage or the garage sales or thrift shopping, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary.
Necessary.
And maybe you just enjoy reusing things, and so that's okay, right? And it's really a big thing, and I know some of it is from our own conditioning, but also what we've inherited generationally.
Yes. 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 Talk about it, because literally, let's just normalize the fact that money can be up and down at times. When I got into financial advising, into right before the market crash with all the houses and people were killing themselves
Mhm.
because, oh my gosh, I can no longer get a job. We never normalize that money flows. Ebb becomes like in, and then it can sometimes slow down. So it feels like as soon as it comes in, it goes out. If we can normalize money flows, I think we would be so much better. And if we can stop putting it's not the barriers, it's the success, this is what makes you successful with money, is if you have the X, the Y, the Z. If we could just get rid of that, turn it into what you truly desire. How do you desire to live? Make it your own personalized statement. How much further as a community? I have people who love to travel. Nowadays, if you don't own a house, how could you be good with money? They just like to travel. That's their wealth story. The more we share without judgment, it makes everybody want to join the wealth trend. It makes everybody be like, hey, here's my wealth story too. And then we all get to feel good, lighting each other up. You need to do this. If you don't have this, then you're not successful. I think that's sometimes a bunch of hashmong because we're all here on this journey of life to be influencers, guides, people to lift each other up. It never matters what you buy someone. It always matters how you make someone feel. And
Mhm.
like the energy even between you and I, Debbie, it's just so strong and thick. And it's just I light up when I'm with you because your vibration is infectious. The way you leave me, I want to be around this person all the time. And you know what? This is why we attract so much wealth into our lives. We don't even have to work hard for certain things. It just they
Mhm.
want to delight us. It's a beautiful thing that more of us needs to get out and share. It's like and sprinkle on everybody because everybody can live this life of really feeling free with money.
Exactly. And that's the same way I feel when we're together. When two come together, it
Yeah.
raises us with the science behind it. David
Mhm.
Hawkins talks about when people come together and send out this vibration, how many people it impacts. We are impacting at least 10,000 people from this exchange. Can you imagine when people are coming to you every time you're working with somebody and you call Kiana and you're like, you're not feeling great about your whole situation. And so the vibration, the frequency that you're putting out there actually brings more of that, unfortunately, to you. And so being able to do the work to focus on, let's clear out those old beliefs that aren't serving you, which I
Yes.
do the energetics around that, by the way, that are
Mhm.
stored in our body. That's what I like to help people with and serve them. And getting the mindset and the energy and the encouragement that you too can be empowered with making the decision. Maybe you're tired of the hamster wheel. We should normalize ups and downs. I've been up and at the food banks and I've gone through everything that you've also have gone through, and it has made me really appreciate why do I want what I want.
The gifts you don't know are available
Mm.
when you say yes to changing your money lifestyle. For me, when I was on that phone, recalling me, just telling them it's just me and my daughter, I was willing to put myself and my husband in, I will never forget this. We were willing to stay in a place filled with roaches.
Mm.
I looked at my husband and he was like, I don't see how we can do this. I said, I refuse to go back. So we have to find something within the budget. And immediately my world grabbed me and said, no. The blessing behind me walking through that apartment and realizing the stove did not have coils so my pots wouldn't warp was little things that my world, my universe provided so that I did not have to go through what I was willing to put myself through. The gifts that just show up. The lady was like, I can let you have it for 850. I said, my budget is 800. She says, it comes with free internet. Let me see if I can work it now. She's like, but you have to sign an 18-month lease. I said, I'll do you better. I'll sign a 24-month lease. She said, you got it. It was so easy, so effortless. Had I not been willing to say, here's my line in the sand, I don't want to go back to those ugly money beliefs. I don't want to go back to thinking that life has to be this way for me because it went that way for uncle, auntie, all of them. Like when you actually start to commit to living something different, oh my goodness. You will face the turmoil of people saying what you're doing and how you're living and what you're cutting off and how can you live? And also there are people along your journey that will help you every single way. And then I also want to speak to once you're even out of the money debacle where you feel like you got a handle on your debt. You know what, Debbie? After all that stuff, here I am now gripped in a new type of fear of, oh my God, I can't get that again. Oh my God, like you get anxious. You can't even step out and make an investment in you and anything because you're like, oh my God, okay, wait, if I get that furniture, that's another bill. I don't want that. I was so debt adverse, I couldn't even think straight. And I couldn't even feel like I could help people with money because I was like, oh my God, I got to keep up this image of being debt free, of having this 800 credit score, which we found ourselves in after 2.5 years. Oh my God, if I do something wrong, it's going to crumble. But it didn't. When I decided and made a decision that if I go into debt, then I am the best person to go into debt with because, dog it, I'm a really good strategizer and I know how to make things work. When I decided money is always going to be around, things changed.
Mhm.
Everything started to come into place and in order. But I cannot tell you how much stress, how much anxiety was still present at the turn of not having enough and at the turn of being at that point we all shout, oh, I'm debt free. You're filled with anxiety because you don't want to go back in. What's that mindset work, energetic work, money belief work? Now that work begins. I appreciate you for digging into that because the stories are there, and also there are people that are always strategically placed for you to get to where you're going along your path. And praise God
Mhm.
for those angels.
It is so powerful. And I've met so many people that have moved from more impoverished to now they're doing really good. But they also carry the same mindset. And some of those, not all of them,
Mhm.
but some of them are holding on to the fear of it going away now,
That part.
or
Mhm.
they're afraid to actually use it and enjoy their life.
Yeah,
And how do you help people through things holding them back?
I call it living wealthy. I help people learn how to live wealthy because we're often taught to say, but nobody teaches how to live. How are we
Yeah.
going to live with the money we have? This is my favorite part of rediscovering who you are wealthy, rediscovering what you like wealthy, playing curious about what it is that you might enjoy, what new hobby that you might think of. Because a lot of us were brought up, let's not say us, I'll speak about me. I was brought up just to think money was used to pay bills, and that's it. And as long as my bills are paid, I need to put some money on my kids. Never that I mattered. My desires mattered. What I wanted mattered. I wasn't taught to put my money on myself.
Hmm.
And that was hard. And so one of the things that I teach people how to do is let's rediscover who you are wealthy. What do you still like? And let's try it on and see if you still like it. And the amount of nerves that are present, I take people through a certain status. I have a favorite client of mine who is, well, all my clients are pretty much my favorite because we come, but she is a wonderful judge. And she was taught coming up, you don't ever buy new cars, right? You always purchase used because it comes from the modality of, oh, a new car is not a good investment. And oh, just that type of talk.
Hmm. Yep.
Girl, here, this is me. Girl, I bought my RAV4 brand new and I put 10 grand down. And when I sold it, I had 12 grand. So she's like, wait, you did what now? I said, yeah. So I actually kind of helped that it increased. And so she was like, so I get to go look for a new car. So then she's okay, wait a minute now. Like then they get that see the win. I can have something new. They love to ask, well, how much can I afford? I love that question because my follow-up question is, I don't know. Tell me what you want first. Just no, that's backwards. Wait a minute. I said, how is it backwards? Because you have to tell me what I can afford, and then I go look in my price range, and then I said, that's backwards, isn't it? Why don't you go have a yummy time sitting in all the things that you want, and you come back and tell me, and we'll see what happens. And literally, she found this beautiful palisade. She's like, oh my God, it lights up when you open the doors and it lights all around. And it looks like it looks like a spaceship. And so she's like, but it's new. And she kept going back to, but it's new, but it's new. And I'm like, okay. She's like, can I afford, Kiwana, can I afford it long term? Now we forecast your income throughout the entire year. So it's not just making you feel good on a monthly, but it's definitely forecasted out through the year. And so when she brought the numbers to me, I'm like, okay, let me go look and see if we can make it work. And she's, but you're gonna come back and tell me I can't have it. I would pause and notice in different ways that when we actually truly want something, we go through first, can I have it? And then, okay, then I might not be able to afford it. She is a judge, 2 incomes, no debt. But these are the questions that we still are sometimes plagued with because of the mindset. Long story short, she was able to get that vehicle upgraded. Um, and now it's, oh my God, I get to look like this going to work. I'm like, you do, girl. Now shine
Mhm.
and be your bright light because now at work, now she doesn't get promotion, she's at the highest. But imagine that for someone else. Now you're showing up to work brighter with more enthusiasm, singing and jamming. Girl, the traffic probably don't even bother you no more.
Yeah.
But it's that living wealthy feeling to first understanding like, man, I really do get to have what I want and be supported. Yes. And then I had another client who I use a new car thing because it's a thing that I only buy new cars. So I'm gonna tell you to go to a new car first and then we work our way from there. But he's the owner of a transportation company and he was like, I really want a Jag. And I'm like, go get your Jag, but corn is too expensive. You haven't looked yet. How do you know it's too expensive? It's these thoughts we tell ourselves.
Mhm.
He purchased the Jag, joined payments for 2 years, feeling good. Then he needed to downsize. Every thought was, well, I shouldn't be paying this car. I shouldn't be enjoying this car because I need to do this. I could do this with my money. Have we thought now might be a time to bless and release? You've spent 2 years enjoying it. Why can't we just now pour blessings into the car and be thankful that it did what it was supposed to do? Thankful for serving us for 2 years. And then now we're about to bless somebody with a brand new used Jaguar. Can't we get excited about being able to now bless somebody who's on the other side thinking, I just really wish I could afford a Jag. And then now they can. Now you get to be the person who does that for them. Come on. You need to fill this car up with some goodness, with some great energy. So I feel like a lot of us need to learn how just
Mhm.
to live wealthy. We don't have to give things away because they break, tear up, because they can barely operate. No,
Mhm.
we get to be the blessing to someone else. It's amazing. It puts you in a seat of power. And his response was, Kawana, I never saw it that way. I was too busy looking at it from, oh, you don't deserve. And I was like, no, you did everything right. You
Mhm.
did deserve it. Now you get to be a bountiful blessing to someone. We need to embrace our living wealthy status. This is the new way to live. This is how we are to give. Sometimes downsizing means decluttering because there are people to bless, calling out your name. I barely got to use it. Okay, yeah. But we know that if somebody asks us for the shirt off our
Mhm.
back or earrings, we're like, okay, girl, here you go. It leaves you in a position of power. And if we can help people remain in that powerful mindset, it speaks wonders and the generational ripple that your legacy feels and sees is just beyond anything that you could ever imagine.
Oh, yes. I love that story and that experience of both of those clients. Just so powerful
Mhm.
about how we approach it is it makes such an extraordinary difference in how we're moving through our own wealth, our own empowerment of our choices that we get to make in this beautiful journey of life.
Yeah. I believe we make the right decision. Even our spenders, like when that's the thing now, she spends too much. He doesn't know how to spend it all. I believe that our spenders are truly just circulators and
Mhm,
they know how to not hoard things too long and they know how to move in a certain energy of the equal exchange of giving and receiving and they do
mhm,
it. We can learn a lot from spenders, like they'll be letting that energetic flow and there's a lot too to be saved for saving because I believe that there is an art to that as well. It's just learning how to appreciate both sides with full appreciation and gratitude. Because if the person is spending, then they also know how to give. So we don't have time to hoard. And then the person who's saving will always be able to be like, hey, I saved this for us when we are going through this flow of the money. And it can be a beautiful ride. Our journeys is
mhm.
definitely what we make it, and we get to create it along the way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm really seeing money as this vehicle, this energy of being able to step fully into my purpose and vision, even with this podcast. I would like to travel across the US, outside of the US, and I'd like to have a trailer or something of that nature, right? I've picked it out and I want to go to where I've met all the people through the podcast or through my coaching programs or programs I have taken in my own personal development or business development and meet them and have, sitting next to each other, interviews, connecting with them and meet more people along this journey. And
Mhm.
when I start thinking about why is it important for me to get more in the upflow versus the downflow, is so that is possible to be able to happen.
Yeah,
And do you find that people are connected to their or have a vision or a dream or that they've paused it because I don't have the money, the whole scarcity mindset?
absolutely. I'll be the first person to raise my hand because, like I said, when I never knew my money was for me.
Mm,
I never knew. I didn't know my money was for me. Then I have a marriage and I have four beautiful, amazing children. And then now that we have income, I still didn't even know that money was for me. I
mm,
thought that money was for the kids, for the house. I lost myself in my business,
mm,
my family, being a wife, having duties, being a business owner, being everything to my clients. I did not know how to delight myself.
mm,
That was huge. And I've had to, within the past 3, 4 years, walk that back, learning, may I delight you with a glass of water, with favorite food, with ice cream. May I del it went that slow. When it came to investing in myself,
mm,
whew, I could do everything for everybody else, and I could show everybody else how to invest in themselves, and I could show how it'll work. But when it came to really me investing in me, and this was after I had the brick and mortar business, and I didn't really even consider that the investment. But when it came to investing in who I was, not who I am, not what I did, it was easy to invest in my talent, but it was not an easy investment to invest in myself, to unlock the worthiness chapter.
mm,
The you are worthy to receive. That took some serious, okay, head down. Who am I to be investing thousands in myself? What if I fail? What if I don't show up?
mm,
That part. When you ask me, have I met anyone? Yes, I met the lady in the mirror who was nervous about her first $5,000 investment to pulling out certain gifts that even my clients knew I had. when you talk about the energetics and you talk about hearing people say, I wonder what Kiwana would say, or what would Kiwana tell this? What perspective or spin would she put on this to make it sound good? And I had that reflected back to me so many times. Maybe I need to start understanding how powerful my voice could be. To understand that comes with an investment in yourself. To understand how to go from being an advisor to someone who helps people with personal finances, no longer carrying the certain titles or designations behind your name anymore. You need to understand what it takes to stand in a room confidently and hold up your mantle with everybody who does still have those designations. That only comes from investing in yourself to find that confidence, sometimes at a pretty nice 4-figure, sometimes 5-figure investment.
Mm.
And how do you hold that? And I want to say that it's in those times when I've had to make those 4-figure and 5-figure investments that makes me a better coach when I'm holding the client's hand of them actually having to now make that investment. I can now sit in a place where it says, yeah, girl, I know the butterflies. I know the questions on the other side of, am I going to feel like showing up on the days I need to show up? Am I going to have the capacity at the end of the day? I tended to 4 kids, a husband, and my clients. I know what it feels like to talk myself out of this. It's not meant for me. It's for those people who don't have children. It's for those people who have more time. Not even knowing if they have more time, by the way, but just my made up story. And it makes me better because I've sat in that hot seat. And on the other side of it, it feels so good to tell them you can hold yourself up. And here's what you can do over the next 30 days to see if you can show up for yourself, to see how it feels. If you visit me on my IG page, you'll come across this challenge I did health-wise. My friend Naima, the non-judgmental vegan, was running this health exercise where you do all these exercises. Girl, I didn't exercise at that time and never thought about it. And when I looked at day 30, I said, who in the world is going to finish this? Who's going to hold a 60-minute plank? Girl, I can't even do a push-up. So we get to day like 5, I recorded the whole journey. And you see me kicking away the stuff. I don't want to be on camera like I'm throwing a whole full toddler temper tantrum. To day 30, me holding a 60-second plank. What was so emotional about that journey was I didn't understand how I could hold myself up. I had given so much to other people. I had given so much to the kids, given so much to the husband, given so much to the clients. I was depleted when it came to holding me. But in that 30-day journey, I saw who I was, and that if I did these micro steps, I could hold me. I leave that up on my IG because it brings me to tears and to the reflection of knowing that I show up for me. And that, Debbie, is the most powerfulest thing that I've ever
It is
experienced.
showing up for ourselves. How many of us women have struggled? I can make my schedule flexible for other people. I can be
Yeah.
accommodating with total sincerity of how I will give grace, how I will, oh, that's not a problem, and truly mean it for so many areas in my life. But, and if I'm feeling great, maybe I got those 10 hours of sleep. Okay, it's not hard to go and make that nutritional meal or to go for that short walk. But on the days where I'm feeling depleted from giving,
Mhm.
perhaps to so many others, where it's that leaky energy, you're just depleted and you start going down a different path. And next thing you know, you're like, how do I switch gears? Because health is wealth.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I really have really realized at an even deeper level how much our abundance and health is connected and why we have to It's not being selfish. We absolutely have to take care of ourselves in small steps.
Because if you don't, you end up resentful. The one thing that got me to actually come out of feeling numb with client wins, yay, we're winning. And I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to happen. I started getting used to, yeah, this is supposed to happen. Yeah, you're supposed to come out of debt. It always shocks me when you do so faster than my schedule, but it's typical. I became so numb. And then I was like, why does my husband get to go to work and get the 401ks and build the portfolios? The resentment bug. Kiwana, wait a minute. There's something that you want to do. We're not going to walk around with resentment. We're just going to get up and go do it. Have you ever seen, Debbie, those people, the elderly who are just, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. If this didn't happen, I could have did this. Or if you didn't come into my life, I could have did that. My purpose is not to be that person. Whatever I have to do right now to feel good and enjoy life to its fullest expression, to be present to everything that's around me, that's where I'm putting my investments. At the end of the day, I want to look back over and say, I lived, I
Yes.
enjoyed, I indulged. We call it a money gasm on my side of heaven, but I had a mini money gasm. I allowed myself to just stretch. And it's a beautiful thing. And even in the times where I thought I was a little downtrodden, somebody caught me. I inspire people, especially my kids, to live a yes and life. We all get to be happy.
I've always loved those feelings of really reconnecting, right? And it's these slight adjustments when you find that you're out of sync to come back. I've moved
Yeah.
to 6 states in 7 years. And Yahoo, that might have freaked
Good for
people
you.
out.
I like to travel, so I like to see.
I like to travel moving across
Mhm.
states. It's part of living
Yeah.
and trying. And part of that is to look at and really understand what we want to do, what we really desire to do, and that we are all worthy of getting to that point of maybe you can't do it today. Okay, maybe today it's not feasible for you today. But that doesn't mean working with you or somebody whose vibration matches yours, that you can't do that too, that you can't go to a resort or you can't like a spiritual retreat or you can go take a class on some type of personal development for yourself or the dream that you're building. You want to learn photography and you're going to need to go buy the cameras and all of the stuff to go with it. It's possible.
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
possible. Stop thinking you're just bad with money.
Yeah. We normalize everybody's bad with money until you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's bad with money until you just learn to live in it. Because we don't really make the money rules. The stock market could crash at any time. New tax laws get made with Congress all the time. Yes, set yourself up and also realize that you can't protect yourself from everything. You gotta live. The only thing that you have is you. That's why I say you're your first investment. You have to be your first priority.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to that, I'm bad, I'm a badass, getting that investment in my confidence. I knew there was a change in my life when I could stand around a whole bunch of MBA people and all the people and just scream my business from the mountaintops and feel good about it and not feel like, oh my gosh, everybody's looking at me because I don't have, or I have to put on this special face. No, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I love. This is what lights me up. This is why I get out of bed. When I knew I could hold my own in a room, I knew that all my investments was worth it. And you start where you are. When I was going back through myself, into looking into myself and what I wanted and what I desired, I found it took acceptance of me actually wanting to live a luxurious life and not apologize for it. And my luxury may not look like everybody else's luxury. That's another thing. Like your journey is not going to mirror my journey, and yet it still gets to be luxurious. Your journey may not be filled with, because some people like to do I want to retire early, so I not save, it's the minimalist. I just want to live so minimalist for the first 5 years. That could be your version of wealth, ladies and gentlemen. If that's a part of your journey and that's what you desire to do, we're not making it wrong. And also, the person who just wants to keep circulating money, they're right as well, because we all get to walk our own path. And guess what? The same person who is the minimalist, who thought, okay, I have this retirement all planned, you get to enjoy your life retired. And the person who spends like it's going out of style gets to also enjoy their retirement. We all walk our own journey and we experience the gold at the end when we stop making it wrong. Consider maybe that lesson in money was for me. It's normal to go through life and miss a payment or have your credit score drop. That's the main reason you learn how important it is. Like, certain things we just need to start normalizing the fact that we really always needed those money lessons that came along the way. Sometimes we didn't need saving in the moment. This makes our journey unique. I love hearing about everybody's money journey because there's gold in it all. And by us holding back some of these stories, we pass down through our legacy scarcity. We pass down through our legacy lack. We pass down, I'm not worthy. We pass down, I'm not good enough. All those beliefs that we didn't deal with, whether we have money now or don't, those beliefs are still there. And your kids pick up on it. So all that money that you leave them can quickly exit stage right if you haven't built up the confidence in yourself to pass down. And someone's in a divorce, and there goes half of your wonderful savings for your kids because they didn't know how to pick up on certain signals. So do not be afraid to share those stories and do the work that we're talking about with the beliefs, with the energetics. Do that work. So when you pass down that money, that energetic favor, like they're like, oh yeah, and I got my confidence. My mama taught me how to get back up. She taught me that this is only for a season. If I had to go here to the food camp, this is only for a season, and maybe I might meet somebody.
Yeah.
You never know. You
You
just
might
never
find where
know.
you want to volunteer, what really matters to you, or
Good.
where you're going to support with when your abundance comes in. And it's beautiful how it does. It just connects you to where that next step is. And you just never know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet on your journey.
Let's agree to feel good. Stay in gratitude for everything around you. Lead with gratitude. Lead with a life that you know is well lived, and start finding the things that make you happy in your right now, whether it's taking a walk, watching a movie, eating ice cream, whether it's getting your favorite drink, whether it's, I'm just gonna stay in and watch movies today. Like, delight yourself daily and find more joy than you could ever imagine.
Completely agree. And if you live in my neighborhood, you get to go visit the two sets of goats that are becoming my goat therapy. So as I do my morning celery juice, I get out sometime during the day or every other day and I go talk to them. I have relationships with these 8 goats, 2 different caregivers. I'm thankful for them having these goats and that they've blessed me with, yeah, you can come feed them any of the vegetables, just not onions. And I'm like, oh, yay. And they're like so happy that somebody else loves their goats. It,
What a blessing.
it is such to find it. Like yesterday, I was out walking and feeling a little down, and I saw these flowers, and I thought, oh, I took a picture of them, the yellow flowers here, and that's what made me smile. That's what shifted it. The other thing that, and I'm going to shift us over, is that the other thing I really know that brings me joy and so many other people is music.
Mhm.
It can just shift our mood, uplift us, show us so much about ourselves, just depending on where we are. I'm curious to hear what is a song that you go to help you do that shift or uplift you, Kiwana?
I could not say it for so long, and I thought it was a bad word. I play every day when I walk or when I'm going to my yoga or going to work out. I Want to Be Rich by Callaway. I want money, lots and lots of money.
Mhm.
Hey, I want it high to the sky. And you know why? And it ends with, I want to be rich. It was such a, growing up, it was such a bad thing, like to be rich or to call in money.
Mhm.
And now, because it was, I'm like, no, I can help. Amazing. It's a good thing when good people have money. It's
Mhm.
amazing what happens when good people have money. Yes, so I play that jam
Mhm.
loudly and I just get to step in and I realize that I really want to help a lot of people and understand that they are rich. So that's my
Mhm.
favorite song.
Oh,
Mhm.
I absolutely love that. I'll add that to our playlist that's on YouTube so
Mhm.
others can listen to it too. And really, because as you mentioned, you can serve more when people
Yes.
like us are able to serve and then be generous,
And be mhm,
generous.
mhm.
And we've taken care of ourselves as well
Yes.
as being generous. There's nothing like that feeling.
Nothing. And he says in the song, filled, I want money to be filled with love, peace, and happiness.
Mm.
And that's it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want or desiring what you desire. You can be a blessing to others and you get to see
Mhm.
their face light up. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, it's no greater feeling in the world.
My second question,
Mhm.
I'm curious about where you are in this season of your life. If you could go back and talk to your younger self about your worth, what would you tell yourself?
You are not defined by what you do. That your energy creates millions. That's what I would tell myself, the person who's been on the floor thinking the world was over because she didn't have enough.
Mm.
Your energy creates millions. So let's be creative. That's what I would say.
Mm. Mic drop. Absolutely love that. Very powerful.
Thank you. Because it's in those times where you always think, my identity was tied into the paycheck, the wife, the for a while stay-at-home mom. My titles was in everything that I had, but not in who I was
Mm.
and who I am today. And I'm proud of the work I've done so I can stand in my own value and worth. To know that if I never made another dollar, I am important just because I'm in the room.
Mm. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. How can people reach you to connect?
I would love to connect with each and every one of you. You can find me on Facebook at I am Kiwana Thomas. And that's Kiwana Thomas, Thomas. And I would love to connect, or you can find me on my website at set4increase.com, which is set number 4increase.com.
Beautiful. I can't wait to see who reaches out.
This has been amazing. I've enjoyed every moment of
Yeah.
this podcast.
I'm
Yes.
so grateful that we were able to spend this time together and really unravel a lot of things that we should normalize and then stuff that we should let go.
Be free.
That's so much gratitude for you being here, my friend. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me.